Hi, I'm Charles Mereday, and I'm the owner of Mereday's Fine Dining and Mereday's Brasserie and Alto Live Jazz Kitchen. And today we're going to be preparing Thanksgiving turkey gravy. All right, so today we're going to be making turkey gravy, and believe it or not, we're actually not going to use turkey because most of us, we don't have turkey until the day after Thanksgiving in order to make the stock for the gravy. But we usually do have chicken. Most of us have chicken in our homes anyway. So we're going to start out by making a quick roasted chicken stock, which I think is the most important thing about the gravy. Make your own stock if you really want good gravy, instead of going out and buying canned stock or something from the store. Keys to a really deeply flavored chicken stock and really good gravy start right here. I have a whole chicken. We just roasted it in the oven really, really hard just to get it, very brown. And I'm going to add that to a stock pot. Browning it is really key. You want to caramelize the skin and really develop the flavor. You don't want it to be a blonde stock. Okay. After that, deglaze the pan. You can see the pan right here is full of the flavor bits really from the chicken, and you want to get most of that off. So just a little bit of water, and we're just going to scrape it. And this is where all the flavor in your gravy and your stock is going to come from. It's the same thing when you remove the turkey from the pan. You want to do the same thing when you're roasting your turkey. Just get all of the drippings off of the bottom of the pan. It's going to make your stock and your gravy much better. Next, we're going to add what's called a mirepoix. It's classic flavoring for stocks and sauces. Onions, 2 parts. 1 part celery. Carrots. Celery. And I actually like to use a little parsnips in mine. I think it really adds a nice sweetness and another kind of depth layer. So parsnips there. Some fresh thyme. Bay leaves. And here's the most important part. When you're adding the water, you don't want to fill the pot completely. You just want to make sure you're adding cold water to cover the chicken, so it doesn't have to be completely full. If you fill up the pot, then it really will dilute the flavor of the stock. So you can see here, the pot is about half full. So right here, we're already halfway there. Beautiful roasted chicken, mirepoix, fresh herbs, and it smells amazing already. We haven't even put it on the stove. We're gonna bring it up to a boil really quickly, and then we're going to turn it down and let it simmer for about 2 hours. And that is where we'll strain that off, and we'll get to this point where that is the broth that we use to make the gravy. All right, so beautiful. Okay, so when we go to make our gravy, it's going to be a couple of different things. Hopefully by this time your turkey is done. You've already drained the juices out of the bottom, and we're going to use that as part of the gravy as well. We're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil in the pan. And one real secret to making a great foundation or stock or sauce is to really fortify it. And using pure chicken protein is a great way to really develop a real strong flavor. So we're going to add just some plain chicken breast in there. We're going to salt that. All right. So basically what we're going to do is go back through almost the exact same steps as when we were making the stock. We really want to fortify this and make it really strong and have a lot of depth in the flavor. So we're going to go back in with our mirepoix. Only this time, instead of onions, we're going to use shallots. Have a little bit of a stronger and sweeter flavor. Celery again. the carrots and the parsnips. All right, gonna kind of work that in. A couple of key things that you want to look for at this point really is the aroma. You can smell it. It's just, you know, when it smells right, you know it's going to taste good. And you're doing all the right things. At this point, I'm going to add in some butter. Because what we're actually going to do, considering that this is going to be a gravy and not sauce, we're adding in butter and we're actually going to make, you know, the thickener or roux right here in the pan. So a lot of people would try to make the roux on the side and then add it into the final product. I like to do it right in the pan using a technique that's called a Sanger. And that is basically cooking the flour and butter together with the vegetables. So I have some regular all-purpose flour here. And we're just going to Sanger this, just lightly dust it with flour. And very important is you want to cook this from this point as well. You want to just lightly brown the flour, bring all of that together in the pan. If you need to add more butter, you know, feel free. But you definitely want to cook out the starchy texture of the flour. And the browner that you can get this, you know, the more depth of flavor that you're going to have in your final gravy. All right. And now, from that point, we're going to go back in and we're going to add our roasted chicken stock. And I like to add just a little bit of beef stock to mine as well. This would be a great point if you do have turkey stock, or if you took the time to make a turkey stock the day or two before Thanksgiving, that you could use that, which would be even better. So we're going to let this come up to a boil. It should take about 5 minutes or so. And we're going to turn it down to a simmer and really just kind of let it go low and slow and just, you know, really let the flavors develop. I'm going to add back in some fresh thyme again. And you don't have to worry about using the entire stems because at the very end, you know, we're going to strain this. Okay, so now our gravy has been simmering for a while and we are ready to strain it off for the final product here. My chinois or any kind of china cap or strainer that you have will work perfectly. And I'm just going to ladle it out here. The consistency that you're looking for is slightly thick. You don't want it to be lumpy, and that's the technique of Sanger. Will prevent any kind of lumps. It's better than adding, you know, a roux or a slurry or anything like that. It'll be nice and smooth and velvety for the finish. Okay, that's probably enough. Get your ladle kind of just push down a little. We have our finished gravy here, and it's really nice. You can see a great consistency. It's not too thick. There's no lumps. It's nice and smooth and velvety, which is exactly, you know, what we're looking for. Just wanted to coat the spoon, just like that. And so that's what you're looking for, just like that. And one thing to keep in mind when you're making your own stock, keep a little bit in reserve in case your gravy gets a little thicker than you want. You can always go back and just thin it out with some of your stock. One very important step at the end, once it's all strained, and even throughout the process, we definitely want to go in to taste it, make sure your seasoning levels are where you want them to be, and then adjust them. And that tastes really good, actually. So it really doesn't need anything else except for maybe a turkey to go along with it. So, and that's it. There's your turkey gravy.